Hi, my name is Malcolm Gladwell. I am the host of Revisionist History podcast.
Malcolm Gladwell has made a career out of challenging conventional wisdom. He's an intellectual iconoclast, author of The Tipping Point and Outliers. And he says there's one book that changed the way he thinks about criminal justice. A book that digs deep into racism and police brutality.
Supposed to be a male sitting on a swing.
Welcome to Bookmarks.
Black male, green shirt, blue pants.
The book I would like to recommend is a book by a criminologist named Frank Zimring called When Police Kill, which is very much timely. I ran across it. It was one of these, I don't know, I hope it sells many hundreds of thousands of copies now. But at the time, it was a kind of a book by an academic. And he basically systematically tried to figure out how many people die at the hands of police in the United States, how does that compare to other countries, and why? Why do so many people die at the hands of police in the United States?
Gray jacket with black sleeves. Black sleeves, gray pants.
It's completely dispassionate. It is not a work of advocacy. It's a work of analysis. And he walks you through, it's just this kind of education in this problem. He's an older man. He's been one of the leading criminologists in the world for decades. He's written many books, many of which I've read, and I've always come away from reading his books profoundly smarter than I was before I started. So he wrote a book about New York, about the crime drop in New York, called The City That Became Safe, which is just brilliant. He just has a way of thinking about and understanding the roots of complex social phenomena, particularly crime.
1910 West Boulevard.
I'm going to read you a couple of titles of the books he's written over the years. The Scale of Imprisonment. That's from 1991, trying to figure out why are there so many people in American jails. American Capital Punishment, right? The Contradictions of American Capital Punishment. That's from 2003. American Youth Violence from 1998. So he's been thinking about this for decades now.
This is marked by the youth center.
Anyway, I read that book in 2017 when I was thinking about writing this book, my book, Talking to Strangers, and I hadn't figured out how I was going to write it. And Frank Zimring's book just comes out in the middle of that wave of cases. I chose one, Sandra Bland, for my book. And it just made me understand what was going on. And it radicalized me in a really profound way.
1910, black male, green shirt.
This is not a kind of aberration. This is not about a few bad apples. This is about something systemic that's gone wrong in our society. And Frank Zimring was there thinking about this in a profound way long before almost everyone else.
223, are you 10-4? 10-4. Jump to the suspect.
Malcolm Gladwell recommends When Police Kill by criminologist Frank Zimring. Gladwell hosts the podcast Revisionist History, and you can read an in-depth conversation with him on our website at ttbook.org.